Hello, everybody. My name is Amy. My gender pronouns are she, her. Welcome to an introduction to Orgasmic Yoga through the Pleasure and Resilience Summit at healingsexpdx.com. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be here and to welcome you. I'm going to start by just explaining why I stated my gender pronouns at the beginning, because most people would probably assume that I go by she, her. And the answer to that is because if you, like me, identify with the pronouns that people assume, that's really a form of privilege. And because using pronouns correctly shows respect and creates safer and more inclusive spaces for all of us. And I want this to be a safe and inclusive space for all of us. It's a real thrill to be able to share this with you. Welcome to my studio. I work with private clients one-on-one. I also do workshops like this. More information about me and my somatic sex education and coaching practice can be found on my website, which is www.joyfulselflove.com. Before we begin, I want to give thanks, a huge thanks and credit to Joseph Kramer, Kath and Jesse, and Carrie Ivan for their inspiration and also for parts of this script. So I am a certified somatic sex educator. I am also a Betty Dodson body, sex, and orgasm coach, a sexological body worker, a mother, wife, and a fierce friend. My life goal is to empower people to live fully and joyfully in our bodies and to see and believe in our own beauty. Now, like many of you, I wear a lot of different hats. And as I said, this has been a personal journey for me. My own journey has been one of body shame. And what I have found is that our bodies really want to turn towards health and wellness in the same way that a plant wants to turn towards the sun. And so I help people find their sun. I like to shine a little bit of light a little bit further back on the path that I myself have walked, because knowing yourself and your own body makes you happy and whole. It also makes for better community and for a healthier planet. Now, as you probably know, the times that we're living in right now, and based on the title of our summit, which is Pleasure and Resilience, bringing the erotic into the everyday, we each really do need the focus and determination of pleasure warriors to fight the tide of self-hatred that comes from living in a culture that narrowly defines and devalues so many of us. This requires really an internal commitment, an enormous internal commitment to treating the body as a sacred altar and to feeding our divinity a rigorous diet of pleasure. Pleasure is not only our birthright, it's also our access to the divine. So we're going to access that through something called Orgasmic Yoga, which is also known as mindful masturbation or mindful erotic practice. So I want you to have a quiet, comfortable space to be in. You'll want to have a little bit of space in which to move around. And also I'm going to ask you to make sort of a comfortable nest. So I'm going to model for you just a little bit what that comfortable nest might look like. And what it looks like for me is having a super soft, warm, cozy blanket to curl up in and to be comfortable where I'm seated or lying down or standing. So for you, that might mean a blanket, a yoga mat, pillows, cushions, a couch, or a bed. You might also want a water bottle, a journal, anything else that would make your experience comfortable. For me, it really helps me tap into my own eroticism if I have sort of a sacred space. And for me, that means having things that I identify with or feel beautiful, either in or around. So I often will wear, some jewelry that makes me feel good. I've got these feather earrings on and this stone necklace today, a silk scarf, which just feels really nice on the skin. I've got some flowers here with me today. I also have an amethyst rock, which is just beautiful and makes me feel really connected to the earth and to the planet. So these are just some items that can help make a space a little bit more sacred for you as well. You may notice, because you're in my studio, I don't have a lot of photographs. I don't have photographs of my parents. I don't have photographs of my children. And I've actually removed those things from my bedroom as well, because I found that having pictures of my kids and my parents made it a lot harder for me to dive into my erotic self. So if that's the case for you, just give some thought to how you can make your sacred space more conducive to some sexy play, either with yourself or with a partner. I also always like to have some lube around. And in this case, I've got two different kinds of lube. One is a sweet almond oil. This can be found in any massage store. The other is virgin cold pressed coconut oil, and this can be found pretty much in any grocery store. Coconut oil is actually quite good for vulva health. It's an antibacterial, and but neither of these are necessarily good for toys or for condoms or latex or anything like that. I also encourage you to have, and I really do encourage you to have some sort of oil on hand whenever possible for sexy play, whether again it's by yourself, solo, or partnered. Everything just feels a little bit better when it's slippery, and we don't always get wet even when we're turned on. Wetness is not always an indicator of how turned on somebody is. So it can be really helpful to have some oil around. I also highly encourage the use of sex toys. This one happens to be my favorite. It's the Hitachi Magic Wand, but there are lots and lots of great toys on the market. So take a few minutes now to just, kind of gather your things and be ready for us to move into our practice. I'm gonna pause here for just a couple minutes. If you've got all your things together already, that's great. And if you don't, we're going to wait a few minutes for you to do that. And simply sit and breathe with me. While we wait. Now today, this is going to be really a gently and loosely guided practice where we'll weave tools of mindfulness, movement, breath, sound, and touch together with in the moment desires, if you've got them, self-love and self-pleasure, if you feel so moved. So I use an acrostic to help me remember what those tools are. And that acrostic is better sexy time. An acrostic basically means that every first letter of the word stands for a different tool. So the first M in is for mindfulness. And that really just means staying in your head, or excuse me, not being in your head, but being in your body, moving from your head to your body, focusing all of your mind's attention on how you're feeling in your body. So if you're like me, I used to do laundry lists. My partner would be giving me oral sex, and I'd be like, oh my God, like thinking about all the things I hadn't done yet today, doing the laundry list of things that I still had to do in my head. And it was really hard to focus on the wonderful, beautiful gift that I was receiving when I was not really focused on the sensation in my body, but paying more attention to what was happening in my head. So mindfulness is a huge tool, and I will work really hard today to help you bring your mind's attention back to being focused on the body. Better sexy time. The second M in stands for movement. Inviting more movement into the body means that energy can flow or move as you do. So it doesn't get stuck someplace. It doesn't get stuck in the heart, or it doesn't get stuck in the genitals, but is able to move throughout the body. Movement can also be used to help breath move throughout the body. So both breath and energy are moved through, or can be moved with movement. So inviting more movement into our practice today. Better sexy time. The B is for breath. Breath can be used to both increase desire and arousal in the body, and it can also be used to slow things down to a more relaxed, savoring sort of pleasure. So harnessing breath for better sexy time is another one of our tools. Better sexy time. The S is for sound. So the vagus nerve, which is also known as the soul nerve, it's the primary transmitter of feel-good chemicals in the body. And basically it moves from your brainstem through the back of your throat, all the way down in women to the uterus, in men down towards the base of the spine. And the vagus nerve is the primary transmitter of feel-good chemicals like oxytocin and endorphins throughout the body. So when you use sound or a humming, a gluttural sound in the back of your throat, you're actually activating the vagus nerve and making it easier for pleasure to flow through the body. So we're going to use sound. Better sexy time. The S is for sound. The T is for touch and talk. You're going to hear me talking a lot, but really what I want you to be asking of yourself is, how is my body talking to me? And then playing with different kinds of touch. There are lots and lots of different ways to participate today. And some of those ways are fully clothed, as I will be. You can be fully naked if you wish, or of course, anything in between. Simply breathing and having your hand on your heart is a form of self-pleasure and a form of orgasmic yoga. So if that's what moves you today, then please feel into that. You could also be doing Kegels, and you could be manipulating your genitals if that feels right for you. So there's self-pleasure with masturbation, and there's self-pleasure in other ways. Again, tuning into what's right for you and your body. It is absolutely all welcome here. Right now, you're probably watching this as a recording, and if it's during the Pleasure and Resilience Summit, please feel free to bring questions that you have about orgasmic yoga to our evening panel discussion. And of course, you can always reach out to me. It's amy@joyfulselflove.com is my email address. So we're going to talk for a couple minutes about what orgasmic yoga is, what the benefits are, why we might practice it, and then we're going to simply move right into our orgasmic yoga practice. The practice itself is going to be in the neighborhood of about 30 minutes, and then we're going to have some relaxed savoring and a closing at the end. So what is orgasmic yoga? Well, oddly, it's not really about orgasms or even yoga in the sense that I will not be asking you to do any downward dogs or warrior positions or tree pose. The yoga in the title is really more about cultivating presence, breath, and awareness. So this is yoga in kind of a broader sense. Orgasmic yoga is about developing, sometimes for the first time, and for others, reclaiming our erotic capacities. It can be used to reawaken awesome feelings in your body, or to discover those feelings really for the first time. And it means feeling juicy, vital, and alive. So I use masturbation. I never used to masturbate. I had a partner, I had really good partner sex, but I had basically abdicated responsibility for my sexuality to my partner, which meant that when he asked me, hey, what do you want? Or what would feel good? Or what do you fantasize about? My answer to all of that was really like, I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't know what I liked, so I couldn't answer those questions. And the reason I didn't know those things is because I didn't self-pleasure. So this is, again, part of my own journey and a gift to you. My hope is that through masturbation and through self-pleasure, you're able to nourish yourself and your whole well-being. Orgasmic yoga was developed in the 1990s by Joseph Kramer and some other erotic explorers. Joseph, if you haven't heard of him, is the foremost teacher of erotic massage in the world. And in 1984, he founded the Body Electric School in California. He then went on to found the New School of Erotic Touch and the legal professions, which was new at the time in 2003, of sexological body worker, which I have a certificate in. So the reasons to practice orgasmic yoga are, one, to learn what turns you on. As I just mentioned in my own personal journey, I had no idea what I wanted or how to ask for it. So to figure out what you want, to be able to ask for it, either of yourself, which we're going to practice today, or with a partner, and also to receive it and to savor in the receiving. So basically to reclaim your sexual voice and vitality. Benefits of orgasmic yoga include greater freedom, greater aliveness, flow, I love that word, flow, and interconnectedness, greater relaxation and alertness, and of course, greater resilience to the ups and downs of life. Now, in our society, we tend to dismiss pleasure. We think that engaging in pleasurable activities is selfish and unproductive. I prefer to think of it as self-full. We have to fill our own tank first so that we have capacity then to give to others. We think that doing something because it's fun is a luxury that we don't have the time or the money for, but that's simply not true. Again, we need to have our own fun. We need to build our own resilience. We need to have our own tank, gas tank full before we're really able to help others. And this is especially true if you are a caregiver, if you're a parent. It's also true of being a good partner. Loving yourself helps make you a better partner for somebody else. So pleasure in and of itself is super duper powerful. It creates positive emotions that not only feel good, but also improve our ability to endure life's challenges. So masturbation, partner sex, and really any kind of positive extended touch, like a super nice long hug, one of those hugs that isn't just 2 seconds and pull away, but one of those hugs that you can really breathe into, relax into, maybe feel the other person's belly, feel each of you breathing. Let your nervous systems get in sync, like a 2 minute, a 3 minute or longer kind of hug or a cuddle session. All of these sorts of touch generate and increase the body's production of feel-good chemicals like oxytocin and dopamine. And these chemicals actually inhibit the production of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So orgasmic yoga gives us practice with self-love, with compassion, with body love, with presence and mindfulness. And these are all skills in resilience building. Lastly, but certainly not least, when we savor and feel pleasure, we actually increase our body's ability to feel more pleasure. The scientific term for this is neuroplasticity. Say that 10 times fast. Neuroplasticity. So our brain and our body can learn to turn towards the positive, to embrace pleasure through the experience of pleasure. So experiencing pleasure actually creates new neural pathways for pleasure, which expands our capacity. We're sort of hardwired to turn towards the negative biologically for survival. And so orgasmic yoga and feeling more pleasure helps us sort of steer our attention, our mindfulness, our mind's eye towards the positive. And again, that is a skill for building resilience. So simply practicing orgasmic yoga, this is not just about improving your sex life. It's not fluffy. Whether it's solo or partnered, it's really about improving your whole life. And we practice this in much the same way that we practice learning anything else that's new, whether it's how to speak a foreign language. And for some of us, learning the language of our body really is learning a foreign language. It was certainly that way for me. And it's also akin to learning a new sport or even to learning how to walk as children. So we're taking teeny tiny steps. Maybe we start with sitting up and then pulling ourselves up and then learning to crawl and then eventually sort of teetering to standing and taking those first steps, maybe even learning how to run. So in orgasmic yoga, the language that we're learning is on the sensation of the body. And that is really the language of the body, what you're feeling below the emotion or the feeling state. The base language of the body is sensation. And orgasmic yoga is typically practiced for 30 minutes, ideally for 30 days in a row. I have to laugh when I say that because if you're like me, you're wondering how the hell you can self-pleasure for 30 minutes, let alone for 30 days. And I'm just proof. I'm just here to tell you that you can do it. Often it helps to set a timer so you're not constantly looking at your phone wondering, gosh, how long have I been at this? And 30 days is the amount of time that it takes to really break down old habits and to create new ones. I would say also that the 30-minute time frame allows you to slow down and to try new things. And that's a really important piece of this practice, slowing down and trying new things. We have these habitual ways of self-loving, habitual ways of masturbating. A lot of it focuses on having a wank, just getting it done quickly, often really quiet. As children, if you masturbated as a child, and not all of us did, but many of us did, then you probably masturbated in silence and in the dark and quickly. And many of us have not broken those same habits. So the 30-minute time frame for orgasmic yoga does enable us to break that down and to create new habits. So take a few minutes now to sink into your space, pay attention to the temperature in the room, pay attention to the lighting, spend a few minutes making a nest. We already talked about that. And I want you to just imagine now that you are, that you're welcoming a most honored guest. Perhaps this is someone you might welcome in to have a meal with you, to be a most special and very important dinner guest. And in this case, the only change is that this guest is coming for a self-pleasure ritual. And the person that you are welcoming is yourself. You're welcoming yourself, and you are worthy. You're worthy of spending time on. You're worthy of getting to know. You're worthy of pleasure. So I'm going to invite you to spend this time channeling your sexual arousal into your heart, letting every caress and stroke really celebrate you, everyone and everything that you're connected with. taking this sacred time to delve into yourself, to surrender to sensation. Remember, that's the body's language. And to invite both the masculine and the feminine in yourself to come out and play. We all have masculine and feminine in ourselves. I also want you to weave together the heart and the genitals, to be vulnerable and to be uninhibited with yourself. Try to allow the masks that we all wear, try to allow those masks to fall away, to dance and to see your own radiance. So we're going to begin this orgasmic yoga practice with breath. Wherever you are, whether you're sitting like I am, whether you're standing or lying down, and it's all welcome here, bring your awareness to the sensation of breath in your body. Let the gentle rhythm it creates within you be felt. So let each inhalation and exhalation slowly lead to the next. I'm going to turn on some music to help us fall into our breath. Letting go of your inner critic, letting go of what you think masturbation should be, what it should look like, or what it should feel like. Letting arousal and orgasm or release come, if it does, without expectation or need. This is about self-pleasure in whatever form it takes today. Taking a moment now as you breathe to set an intention. That intention could be for the next 30 minutes, for the rest of your day, for the rest of this week or this month. Lean into what does your heart want? What is your heart's deepest desire? Maybe it's a prayer for yourself. Perhaps it's something you want for your sensuality. Perhaps it's a hope for your sexuality. Maybe for something completely different. Let this sensation guide your journey and your exploration today. Fix it in your mind as we breathe together. Breathing in. I know I am breathing in. Breathing out. I know I am breathing out. Inviting movement into your body with the breath. Gently shaking or rocking. I tend to be a rocker. Remembering our tools, mindfulness, movement, inviting in the movement, combining that with breath. We'll be adding sound and touch as well. Knowing that you don't need to change or make anything different about your breath. Simply noticing, how is your body being breathed in this moment? Perhaps you can feel breath coming into the back of the throat. Perhaps you feel breath in your chest. Noticing if you feel your rib cage moving up and away to make space for the lungs as they inflate with air. Perhaps you can feel the muscles of your back or your shoulders parting. Maybe your scapula makes way. Again, as the rib cage inflates, making space for the lungs in the back of the body. How does your body feel as it is breathed? Now inviting breath down a little bit deeper, maybe into the belly, placing your hands lightly on your belly if that feels right to you. Notice if your belly rises to meet your hands with the inhalation or falls back towards your spine with your exhalation. Deepening the breath if it feels right to you. Breathing in, my breath is deep. Breathing out, my breath is slow. Inviting more movement. I'm shaking my hands, my arms, my shoulders, my neck, rolling my head. Whatever movement feels right for you. And inviting breath a little further in the body now, if it feels right for you. Maybe all the way down into the pelvis, placing a hand on the genitals. I like to cup my genitals. I'm going to move the camera down a little bit so you can see what this looks like for me and my body. Giving a little genital hug. So for me, this looks like placing the palm of my hand, the top of the pubic mound, and then rolling the fingers all the way back towards the anus, giving a gentle squeeze, genital hug. Breathing all the way down into the pelvis. And when we place our hands where we direct our breath and our mind's eye, the warmth of the hands and our touch simply helps direct our mind's eye and our attention to that location. Breathing in, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I feel my body whole. Allowing a gentle sigh on the exhale if that's possible for you. It's not a forceful exhale. It's not a pushing out of the breath. It's simply a letting go. Feeling yourself from the inside, shaking the places where energy might be stuck. Letting your body twist, stretch, slither, unwind. Letting your body simply move. I am moving my arms in a circle, getting a nice big side stretch so that I can invite breath and pleasure all the way up the side of my body. Feeling breath as an inner lover, entering all of our cells, bringing nourishment and renewal to all parts of our being. Taking the time now to scan your body for any place that feels a little bit good. And for some people, a little bit good is really a little bit less bad. So I want you to scan your body from the neck down for any place in your body that feels a little bit good or a little bit less bad. Now, any adjective or any describing word can be used to name the sensations that you notice. So you might feel fluid in your body. You might feel fluttery in your heart. You might feel constricted in your throat. You might feel tightness in the back of your neck. You might feel expansion in your chest or in your belly. Simply notice, it's all welcome. You might feel someplace that feels a little bit good or a little bit less bad, any place from the neck down. For some people, it's an automatic in the genitals. For other people, it might feel good in your heart. Might even feel good in the pinky finger on your left hand, or a little bit less bad there as well. So I want you to simply breathe into that place that feels a little bit good or a little bit less bad. And in your mind's eye, this means simply directing breath to that spot. Sometimes the very act of noticing changes the sensation. And that's because energy is moving in your body. Pay attention to how big does that spot that feels good, a little bit good or a little less bad, how big does that spot want to be? This is an invitation now. Perhaps it wants to stay small, and if it does, that's perfectly great. And if it does, that's also perfectly great. If it wants to get a little bit bigger, and how you make it get a little bit bigger is by focusing your mind's attention, your mindfulness, all of your attention on that spot, by directing the breath to that spot. And sometimes, for some of us, adding a little bit of imagination. Imagine that spot getting just a little bit bigger with the breath, and a little bit bigger. This isn't about making it something that it's not. It's simply an invitation. How big does this spot want to get? Does it want to fill your belly if it's in the belly? Maybe with breath, it wants to fill your whole body. Maybe with more breath, it wants to fill the room that you're in, your nest, your sacred space. Maybe with even more breath, it wants to reach out and bring this feeling of goodness to everybody on this call, or in the room, or in your house, or to all the beings on the planet. Sending love and lightness and feeling connection. All you need to do is tune in. And if your body is saying, I want this little bit to stay small and in the pinky finger of my left finger, then that is just fine. Let it stay there. Simply notice what that feels like in your body. There's no right or wrong here. There's just breath. And tuning in. And an invitation to invite more pleasure into your body. As you invite pleasure into your body, I want you to see it in your mind's eye. What does erotic energy look like for you today? What does it look like for you today in this moment? Imagine it as a ball or a sphere floating just in front of you up high. If you could reach your arms out, you might be able to touch it. What does it look like for you today? Maybe it's light blue. It's a sphere of light blue. Maybe it's filled with puffy clouds like on a warm summer day, floating just up there out of reach. Or perhaps it's shiny and slick, silvery like moonlight, or like a school of fish flitting about in the ocean. Keep breathing. Maybe your erotic energy is fiery hot like lava at the core of the earth. Maybe it's a ball of red, hot energy. Whatever that erotic energy looks like is up to you. It's up to your imagination and your inner guidance. Does it have a color? What color is it? Does it have a texture? Is it soft and silky? Is it woven? Is it plush? Is it prickly? Does it have a temperature? Is there a vibration or a sound associated with your erotic energy today? Take a moment to let your erotic energy form in that ball above your head. Just let it form and keep breathing. Opening up your body, opening up your face, looking up, opening up your heart, opening up your arms, stretching your body out now, reaching out. Imagine that you could grab that erotic energy and pull it in gently to rest on the crown of your head. If erotic energy is already in your body, simply direct it up to the crown of your head. The crown of your head, I want you specifically to focus right in the center on that soft spot, the fontanelle that we all had as babies, where the skull was not quite closed, where we were open, a little bit more open to what the universe had to tell us, to connection to others. This is known as the crown chakra in Hinduism and Buddhism and some factions of yoga. The crown chakra. I want your erotic energy to melt or to be breathed into this part of your head. This location is our connection to the universe, excuse me, allowing us to access higher states of consciousness, understanding, spirituality, and bliss. I want you to simply notice any sensations that arise there for you now. Placing a hand on your crown chakra, or sometimes people like to put perhaps a vibrator on your crown chakra. What I want you to ask yourself in this moment is, how does my head want to be touched right now? Take a sacred pause, a moment to tune in, to listen to your body. What kind of touch would your head like right now? I want you to listen to that voice. What is it saying? Maybe you'd like to run your fingers through your hair. Maybe you'd like to scratch your head gently all over. Maybe you'd like to twist and gently tug some hair away from the scalp. Ooh, that feels delicious. I want you to take 3 or 4 or 5 nice deep breaths here, giving yourself what you're asking for. Tuning into the body. Inviting your erotic energy now to move, perhaps flowing gently down to the third eye chakra in the middle of your forehead, right between your 2 eyes, just above the eyebrows, right here. This energy center is the home of wisdom. Wisdom, a third eye, clairvoyance, and intuition. Notice any sensations you're experiencing here. And asking yourself, how would my third eye or my face like to be touched right now? Taking a sacred pause, time to tune in, to listen to your body. What kind of touch would your third eye or your face like? And I want you to listen and give yourself that touch. Maybe you'd like to gently massage your third eye while meditating on your ability to truly see yourself as beautiful. Maybe you'd like to gently stroke your cheeks or relax the muscles at the corners of your eyes, or simply lovingly explore your lips, your tongue, tuning in. Take 3 or 4 deep breaths here, giving yourself what you're asking for. Now inviting your erotic energy to glide down further to the throat chakra, Your voice, so important. The ability to voice what you want, your desires, to ask for what you want, the bridge between the heart and the mind, access to communication. Simply notice what comes up for you here as you touch and tune in to your throat and your throat chakra. What is your eroticism in your body telling you? This isn't about making something up. It's about tuning in. It's about experimenting and noticing, inviting pleasure and sensation into the body, taking time to love yourself. Asking yourself now, how would my throat or my neck or my shoulders like to be touched right now? What is your body, your inner lover asking for? Listen and give yourself that touch right now. Maybe you want to massage the base of the neck, right where it meets the head. Maybe compression touch, a little bit of holding gently on the throat is exactly what your body wants. Maybe you need to breathe and massage into your shoulders. 3 or 4 deep breaths here, giving your body what it's asking for. Being your own best lover. Now inviting that erotic energy a little deeper into the body through self-touch and caress. Maybe it flutters like a gentle butterfly, landing in your chest. This is your heart chakra. This is where love for oneself and for others resides, as does hope, compassion, flexibility, and balance. Taking the time now to ask yourself, how would my heart, my chest, my breasts, my nipples like to be touched right now? Taking a sacred pause, tuning in, listening to your body. What kind of touch would make this feel even better right now? We're so used to this kneading touch, but there's tapping too, and slapping. I want you to listen and give yourself the touch you're asking for. Maybe it's gentle and maybe it's hard. Tuning in, welcoming more pleasure. 3 or 4 breaths now here. Caressing your body, perhaps into an aroused state and perhaps not. No expectation, no need to get somewhere. Simply expanding the pleasure, following those tendrils of pleasure in your own body, wherever they lead you. Breathing in, I love and accept the me I am right now. Breathing out, my body loves and accepts me wholeheartedly and without reservation. Giving yourself permission. Only you can give you permission to touch yourself exactly as you like. Exactly as your body likes. Wherever you want. Inviting your energy down now to your solar plexus chakra. This is the area just above your belly button. This is the home of self-assurance, of willpower, of personal responsibility. Taking a sacred pause, tuning into your body. What kind of touch would make this feel even better right now? I want you to listen and give yourself that touch. Maybe it's rubbing the belly. Maybe it's a little higher. Maybe you're still in your chest. Maybe it's a little lower. Be curious. Explore and play as you move. Mindfulness, movement, breath, sound. Touch and talk. Talk to yourself and listen. What does your body want? Keep breathing and tuning in, inviting your erotic energy down even further now to the sacral chakra in your lower tummy, below your belly button. Below your belly button. This is the site of creative and sexual energies, intimacy, emotions, sensuality. Notice what comes up for you here now, asking yourself, how would my sacral chakra, my abdomen, my lower belly, my hips, or my ass like to be touched right now? Taking a sacred pause, tuning in, listening to your body. What would my best lover do right now in this moment? Now do it. Give yourself that touch. 3 or 4 breaths here as you give yourself this touch. The touch that you crave, the touch that you desire, the touch that you deserve. Breathing in, I smile to my genitals. Breathing out, I feel my genitals smile back at me. Ooh. And now, inviting or allowing your erotic energy to float or to fly or to slither or crawl all the way down to your root chakra at the base of the body, between your legs at the perineum. This is the foundation on which we build our life, a place of safety, security, and stability. And now, asking yourself, how would my root chakra, how would my genitals, my vulva, my cock, my pussy, my yoni, my lingam, my scrotum, my perineum, my little rosebud asshole, how would it like to be touched right now? Taking that sacred pause, taking time to tune in, to listen to your body. What do I want right now? Breathing in, I feel joyful. Breathing out, I am a source of peace and joy. Allowing your hands to wander. It's getting very warm in my studio. Maybe it's warm where you are too. Inviting movement. Shedding layers of clothing if you're too warm. Keep breathing and moving, maybe picking up the pace a little bit. Having guided your erotic sensual energy down to your root chakra, I invite you to say hello to your genitals. Maybe give your PC muscles, the pubococcygeal muscles, a little squeeze. Those are the muscles you would squeeze if you wanted to stop the flow of urine midstream. A few little gentle Kegel squeezes. The release being just as important as the squeeze. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release as you breathe. Yes. Acknowledging your genitals with gratitude. Opening up. Expanding the erotic energy at your root chakra to take up space in your whole pelvis. Taking a moment to experiencing this, lighting up and being present in your genitals, noticing sensations, being conscious of any presence in your pelvic bowl. Opening your body, keep breathing, maybe a bit faster. I like to use something called sip breath. It can be 2, 3, or 4 faster inhalations followed by an exhalation. And it looks like this. Ha, 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 ha. Go at your own pace. Remember to move, moving, shaking, unwinding, finding your dance, your rhythm. Opening up your pelvis to the ground. As you breathe, pulling energy from the earth up through your bottom, through your genitals, through your pelvis and your root chakra. Imagine that you're breathing in and out of your genitals. Pulling energy up through the genitals, all the way up through the body, through the heart, through the throat, all the way up to the crown, the top of your head. And then breathing it all the way down again. Feel your energy as you breathe up through the genitals from the earth, all the way up, up, up to the crown chakra through your head, and then all the way back down. How much erotic energy can your pelvic bowl hold? Stirring that erotic energy with your body. Using your spine like a wooden spoon, doing whatever feels good, inviting more pleasure into the body. Sometimes it can be helpful to combine the breath with the squeezing. So I'm going to breathe in and squeeze that PC muscle at the same time. Squeeze and release. Inhale, squeeze, exhale, release. Inhale, squeeze, exhale, release. If you're lying down, this might look like pushing up off of your feet. Again, letting your body move in whatever way feels right. Stirring that energy with your spine, maybe on all fours. Inviting more pleasure into your body. Maybe imagining you've got a tail. What would your tail look like? What would your tail do? Is it heavy? Is it light? How does your tail want to move right now? We're going to start to slow things down and wind our practice down. Slowing your breath and your movement very slowly. Focusing your attention on your heartbeat now. Breathe while being present to any sensations in your chest and in your genitals. Taking a moment to speak into your heart. May I be happy. Breathing in this prayer into your heart. May I be happy. Breathing into your aroused genitals. If they are aroused, may I be happy. Breathe as you savor the feelings of happiness throughout your whole body. Continue your breathing and your slow, erotic, self-caressing. Feel your body's aliveness, its strength and wellness, its pulsing vitality from within. Taking a moment now to pray into your heart. May I be free. May I be free from inner and outer harm. May I be free. And to breathe and to pray into your awakened genitals. May I be free. May I be free of inner and outer harm. May I be free. Letting your whole body resonate with freedom, with liberty, with well-being, with peace, and with joy. Breathing in, I smile to my whole body. Breathing out, I feel my body smile back at me. Now I'm going to allow for a period of silence, of no thoughts, of no words, just being, simply winding things down, noticing, witnessing, and lovingly embracing yourself. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. At the end of that time, we'll all hear a gentle chime, and then we will come back to our practice. Welcome back. Welcome back to the room with me to an introduction to Orgasmic Yoga. Taking a moment to just continue to notice how you feel in your body. My hope is that you feel quite a bit more embodied in your body than you did at the start. My hope, my intention was for you to feel safe and supported enough to dive into yourself during this time that we shared together. I hope that I was successful. I also hope that whatever your intention was, that it was either met or is perhaps you've taken one small step along a very great journey. That I hope is that you have taken some step towards whatever your intention was. And this too is part of Orgasmic Yoga, a reflection afterwards on the experience. So take the time to consider what that was like for you, what worked and what didn't, what might have helped you dive more readily into yourself, where there were distractions. We all have these monkey brains. Where might you have been able to call your brain back? Were you able to do so in a way that was kind and compassionate without judgment when you needed to? What might have helped? What might have hindered the experience? Taking the time now to journal if that's what feels right for you. I'm going to say thank you. Namaste. Very much appreciate your allowing me to be a part of your journey in whatever small way that was today. And wishing you much embodied joy and self-love in the future. Good luck and goodbye.